So I just beat RE3 Remake, and it's alright. Could have been better, could have been worse. It's not the worst thing I've ever played. As someone who has a decent amount of issues with the second game's remake, I came away from my first playthrough rather positive. I think a major factor is that RE3 Nemesis is the only mainline game I haven't touched, only seeing parts of it via Let's Plays, so I have zero nostalgia and context going into this game, unlike RE2 Remake. I cannot emphasize enough how important I think this is to my overall takeaway, which is why I want to do another video reviewing both of them side by side later, having this video work as a companion piece to compare and contrast how your background can affect your enjoyment of this game, and how this could be applied when enjoying other pieces of media. This video is going to contain spoilers for the whole game, so just a heads up, some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is in endgame areas. I adore the opening of this game. My favorite part of zombie media is the initial chaos of outbreaks. I wish the actual chaotic outbreak and people running away and hiding from the zombies played a larger part of this game, allowing you to interact with more survivors. The initial exploration of Raccoon City is really fun. I spent a ton of time just looking around at all of the references to other Capcom IPs, but I do wish there was more to the town because it is by far the best section of the game, having more stores to go into, more city blocks to explore, maybe a full apartment building or two to explore where you could run into other survivors hiding out in their rooms, or finding survivors that didn't make it, like some of the concept art you can see once unlocked in the bonuses. There has been a lot of discussion on the game's contents and length. I agree with the notion that the game probably should have been just a $30 to $40 expansion for RE2 Remake, but at the same time I personally felt my money was well spent. I enjoyed the 5 hours that was my playtime, and I plan to replay it again. I would rather have a shorter game that I found enjoyable from start to finish than a game that is bloated with padding to reach an arbitrary length for people's sunk cost fallacy. I get why people are mad about the length in this game, but I personally do not agree. The game is gorgeous. They fixed that weird, uncanny clay babyface issue with characters in 2. Though the game weirdly lost a lot of details that made RE2 Remake really impressive. The gore and damage your guns do to zombies has been neutered. I have a sneaking suspicion that this was for performance reasons. When Carlos is defending the hospital, zombies piling in pop like balloons when they die. I thought it was a joke, but no, they pop with this comical sound effect, which I'm guessing the game had to do, or else the ragdoll dead bodies would tank the game's frame rate. Any enemy that is more than 15 feet away from you also runs at a lower FPS. This probably should have been a next-gen launch title, giving it another year in the oven to have more content, without sacrificing environmental detail and effects that were found in the previous game a year prior. Nemesis is another point of contention from what I've seen, and personally speaking, I much prefer the scripted nature of Nemesis in this game than the roaming threat that was Mr. X in RE2 Remake, who lost all of his appeal by the end of the first A scenario, and felt like a way just to extend the game's runtime by making you not be able to progress. I disagree with people who say it makes you change up your tactics, because all you ever had to do was just run a few rooms away till he de-aggroed or teleported away. At least with Nemesis you actually get something out of fighting him, which gives an incentive to make the decision between fighting or running away. I will agree that I wish I fought Nemesis more in this game though. I think 2 or 3 more fights with him would have been perfect. 1 or 2 pre-getting his weapons, and another one post-getting the rocket launcher. I feel like I really didn't get a good chance to fight him pre-transformation in this game, mainly due to single grenades downing him on my first attempts when fighting him. Grenades seem incredibly overpowered in this game, which is probably why you have to equip them like a gun instead of being able to just hold a bumper to toss them like you could do in RE2 Remake. The second to last fight with Nemesis in the arena is kind of shit. For one, it's functionally the same fight in the courtyard an hour and a half earlier, earlier. But now there's basic zombies roaming around the arena with you, so they could sneak up behind you and grab onto you while you're being distracted trying to fight the actual boss. These zombies are so annoying, and I feel like they're a way just to add extra tension to make the fight not seem as dull, because it's literally the same one from an hour and a half earlier, but instead of just shooting him off the clock tower with a grenade launcher, you have to shoot a generator to zap him. There's also a few instances I ran into where his AI was less than spectacular. I'm still not a fan of how bullets can crit in these remakes, and how sometimes it takes upwards of 15 pistol shots to kill a single zombie, while other times it takes only one. Not hot on randomness in my horror games. Even if it's supposed to convey the idea that these things are an unstoppable force, which I think it does great, it doesn't exactly make for fun gameplay. Zombies still occasionally magnetically grab onto you. When looking back at the footage, you can see that you were not being grabbed and they teleport on top of you. The only part of the game I actively dislike is the sewer area where you're fighting the Hunter Gammas. They are too large to fight in an area this narrow, that when you dodge them and they do their jump back attack, the camera freaks the fuck out. This is by far the worst section in the whole game. If you can't get the perfect dodge, then your camera is going to shit itself from being knocked into walls. And while I admit I am bad at this section, and I was not able to perfect dodge right away, I feel like it's a little unreasonable for a game to expect you to be able to do it perfectly right from the get-go, or it gives you motion sickness induced nausea. While I don't really know about the story of the original or what was cut other than Jill going through the RPD, I did like this game's story. I thought it was cool to get to see how things became the way they were in the RE2 remake, like the liquor hallway. Sometimes I thought there were way too many modern action movie quips, but for the most part, I was fine with it, though I can see this pissing off people a lot, just like the more action-oriented cutscenes. When it comes to the action in Resident Evil, I've come to accept it as long as it leans into and just embraces either being horror or action. It's only when it's in this awkward middle ground does it bother me. Feats of strength are fine. Characters pulling off crazy stunts I could get behind, because these are supposed to be the best zombie fighters in the world, especially Jill in this game, who is supposed to be, in quotes, super cop. It only really takes me out of the moment when they are walking off what would be fatal injuries with minor limping or pained grunts. This is made even worse when other characters are hit and hurt by monsters the same way you do, and they are either killed or horribly injured. Jill walks off so much shit that would have killed her or badly injured her that a lot of the tension is lost because of her plot armor. Even in movies like John Wick, where Keanu Reeves is a killing machine, he still breaks his arm in the club and is shown to have signs of mortality, which gives a weight to the action. But then you see Jill get flung around like a rag doll in this game and be perfectly fine after a few seconds, taking a rocket practically point blank. Then you see Tyrell get flung against a wall by Nemesis and he's splatted and there's blood, only to emphasize Jill's plot armor even more. Again, to reiterate, feats of strength are a-okay with me, but walking off injuries that would have killed anyone else in the game that isn't the main character really de-elevates the tension. My biggest issues with the game are actually menu-based. I feel like there could have been a lot of simple quality of life improvements brought to the menus. For starters, why the hell can't you replace what you are trying to pick up with something in your inventory when it's full? If you pick up an item when your inventory is full, you have to stop trying to pick it up and go back to actual gameplay, open your inventory, go to the item you want to discard it, close your inventory, go back to the item you're trying to pick it up, then pick it up. If you're in a tense situation where you need to pick up a crucial item while being chased or surrounded, like a health item, ammo, or key item, then you're fucked and you're going to die. Why can't you directly eat green herbs when you're trying to pick them up if your inventory is full? Why can't you combine ammo with your gun like the old games? This leads to so many OCD-induced rages over not being able to maximize ammo pickups and topping yourself off, along with adding unnecessary tedium when interacting with item boxes. Why can't you combine two herbs when one of them is in your item box and the other is in your inventory, which is full? Why can't you just directly combine one gunpowder which is in your full inventory and the other which is in your item box instead of having to keep switching things in and out in order to combine things? Why does a pistol with the muzzle upgrade from Nemesis take up more slots in your inventory than the shotgun with the stock upgrade? Why does the pistol with the muzzle upgrade take up the same amount of spaces as the grenade launcher? It's only when the shotgun has 3 upgrades does it take up the same amount of slots as the pistol, but your Magnum with the barrel extension doesn't, despite you can see both of them in game and the Magnum is way longer than the pistol. These probably sound like nothing more than nitpicks to most people, but after playing this game for a while, it starts to get really old that you're just like, fuck, I'm so sick of doing this shit, why couldn't this be more streamlined? Sometimes doors just refuse to open. I think it's because I'm not seeing the actual prompt to open them, so I ended up just grinding against the door while it didn't open as a zombie approached me from behind, and in one case, I died because of it. As for the rest of the story, I think it's fine. I really liked Carlos, and I liked the banter between Carlos and Jill. Killing Nemesis with the giant cannon thing was fucking awesome, and I loved how it melted this giant hole through the wall. Nikolai reveals himself as the bad guy basically instantly in this game, but I think he's still better than his Resident Evil Raccoon City incarnation, which is even more laughably over the top and stupid. The ending narration is so corny that I laughed, but that's not something exactly new to Resident Evil. I would have loved to interact more with the survivors that you ran into at the start and have the initial outbreak and chaos be way longer. This video probably sounds pretty negative, but I always struggle to convey what I like about things more than my issues with them. I still like this game and I plan to play it again for this second video comparing it to the original. The fact that I finished this game and actually wanted to play it again is something I can't really say I felt for RE2 Remake. At the time of making this video, I haven't touched Resistance at all, and I don't think I will include it in the follow-up video because I really don't see any point. If I end up playing it, I will bring it up in my podcast Backlog Monologue, where I talk about games I'm currently playing but don't plan to make a full-fledged video on them. I don't like giving scores to games and hardly ever do, but I think Pat put it the best when scoring this game.
I'll put this 1 point down of whatever you put on RE2. So if you thought RE2 was 10 out of 10, best game ever, this would be a 9.
If you've made it this far into the video, I just want to say thanks for watching, and I hope you look forward to my follow-up video. If you like the channel in this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and maybe consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. Shout out to my $5 patrons, Clem Edwards, Joshua DiLarino, Tabriz Sadiq, Chomatrius, Scarlet Kingdom, Benjamin Johnson, Oods of Nudes, HB33, Star Fox, Flarbu, Bully, and Mitchell. Thank you guys so much. Follow my Twitter to keep up to date on what videos I'm working on, and if you're a card game player, I have a TCG Player affiliate link. Any purchases you make with my link will help support the channel. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.